It's incredible to think about the sheer numbers of individuals that actually live in slum areas in India. In fact, it's almost 4 times the population of New York City. It kind of boggles your mind, but then you walk through these slum areas and you see individuals that are represented by this number. Across the globe, we know for decades there's been a migration to the large cities. Why? Because there's jobs that are available. Unfortunately, many of these jobs are very low paying. So costs go up, pay goes down, and individuals find themselves caught in a situation where their housing is compromised and they end up in slums.
The parents are busy with their works, day and night also. They're neglecting the children. And also, the very unhygienic, always filthy smell, narrow houses, single room bedrooms. Many people are living there in the small houses. It's around half kilometer distance with the 2 rows. There are 500 families are living. We can imagine how narrow houses and how small rooms are there living.
When a child is born, it brings added pressure, economic pressure, and stress to families. Many times these families are single parent. And so the parent is out trying to earn a living while the child can be left alone, almost abandoned at home, particularly before school age. A child is the most vulnerable of all human beings, particularly at a very young age. They don't have the ability to take care of themselves. And so when a parent, a caretaker is not there, and they're driven to go earn a living so they can feed their family, but they're not there present to protect that child becomes vulnerable. And they're vulnerable to all sorts of things, including human trafficking, also abuse, neglect, even malnutrition. And so there's many different factors that come in to make that child extremely vulnerable at this young age. And so one response to this is to offer a preschool option where these children have a safe place during the day while their parent is out trying to survive. These children are protected.
At every school that we visit, there's always a huge welcome with well-dressed kids standing in line, showering us with flowers, and it's such a warm welcome. But there was one place that we went that was totally different, and that's what we call the Vizag Slum Preschool. We were dropped off on a dusty road. We walked down a narrow alley with open sewers on both sides of the street, chickens everywhere, dogs, and just a couple people kind of standing out front of their homes. There was laundry hanging from clotheslines. And when we got to the preschool, there was no band playing songs. There was no traditional dances. It was a simple room with about 30 kids and some very dedicated staff that had felt this calling in their life. And in this room, they're educating children as young as 3 in the middle of this slum. There's poverty everywhere on each side of this special preschool. And what we love is to educate and help these young people to have a little oasis in the midst of this poverty where they can go and they can learn about Jesus, they can play with some toys, they can be safe, they can get a healthy meal every day.
One initiative of Child Impact is called Operation Child Rescue. This initiative is in place to help us respond to the most vulnerable of situations. And perhaps these children are not yet part of our sponsorship program. We hope in the future that they can be, but we want to intervene and provide them with an oasis of hope, a place where they can find safety, where they can find love, where they can find an environment where they can flourish.
In a place like a slum, having a safe place for a child every day is vital to their success and even their survival. So there's, like I said, there's open sewers on both sides of the streets, there's trash everywhere, there's wild dogs running around. So just a place where these kids can go and they can be safe will help them develop incredibly.
There are two ways that Operation Child Rescue engages in helping with the child. The first one is preventative, and that's best. We know what circumstances create vulnerabilities for children, and we're able to come in and offer resourcing through education to help them take another path in their life, so they don't end up in a dead end where they're making choices that compromise who they want to be and how they want to go forward with their life. The other way we get involved is through intervention. That's for individuals who've already made some of those choices that are destructive to their lives, but they want a way out and they don't know how. And so we can come in and provide education, we provide training, vocational training. And we met a lady who had opened a shop just a couple doors down from the Vizag Slum Preschool, and she was flourishing by having a shop right there in that community, making different choices with her life, and you could see the joy on her face of having resources to help her earn a living.
At Child Impact, we're passionate about not just helping these kids right now in the present, but actually stopping the cycle of poverty. And one of the ways that we've been able to do that at the Vizag Slum Preschool is in the past, there's been a special tailoring program for moms who live in that community, in this slum community, where they've come, they've received training in tailoring, and then they've been able to go out and on that same street, open up a tailoring business that serves the community. And so what we'd like to do is jumpstart that program again. When COVID happened and everything shut down, that program was no longer allowed to continue. But now COVID's coming to an end, we hope, and the community is open and receptive to it again. And so we'd really love to continue training moms of these precious kids to be able to support their families in a way that is uplifting and that is positive and will help show the kids an example of how they can be successful later on in life.
Poverty often feels like a dead end. It feels like there are no options or very few options in terms of being able to support a family. And so when a woman has perhaps been abandoned by a husband or a boyfriend, or she got pregnant in other ways, the challenge then becomes, how do I support a family? How do I make a living? And through offering a tailoring program at the Slum School, we are providing another path, another option, and they're excited to embrace this option because it gives them the ability to support their family in a different way.
At Child Impact, our dream is to help these kids have an opportunity to rise above the influences of this slum area. And the way that we're doing that is providing education for them through child sponsorship, where they can receive an education, where they could go back and they could support their community one day or go on to do other things.
As we walk through that narrow alleyway that's littered with trash and poverty and people who are just trying to survive, we met a young lady on the doorstep of her home with a smile on her face. Why? She was sponsored by Child Impact International. She had grown up through our school system and had actually become a nurse. And even though she's still there in that slum area, she's trying to work her way out. She has a bright future ahead, and she's just filled with hope and joy in her life. I don't know who the sponsor of this young lady was. I haven't gone back into our records to see, but I know that sponsor can be very proud of the investment that they made, because this girl who had a very bleak future in the slums, with her mom not being present for her, not available to meet her needs, a sponsor stepped in and said, "I'll do it. I will help this young lady have a different path in her life." And this story repeats itself over and over again through the sponsorship program of Child Impact International. This is a very tangible way for a small investment to change a life. That one life that's been changed has a ripple effect on dozens, if not hundreds of lives. So I want to thank our sponsors for making that commitment to make a difference in the lives of these kids. My hope is that these children eventually can become part of our sponsorship program at Child Impact. Right now, they're supported through our project called Operation Child Rescue, and that is literally what we're doing. But once they reach age 5, age 6, and they're able to go to school, we want them to get that education, because then they can choose to pursue something that they're passionate about, something that will give them options to rise above circumstances of generational poverty and not only impact their life, but all those who they come in contact with. I believe that the best path out of generational poverty is education. Education gives opportunities. Education broadens the mind. It helps see a future that is not limited, but unlimited. And it's so exciting to see children who grasp the opportunity in front of them and they run with it. I grew up next to a railroad track. It was nothing like this, but I remember a phrase. It was something like this: I grew up on the wrong side of the tracks. And for these children here at the Vizag Slum Preschool, that certainly is their experience. They grow up almost certainly to have difficulties, to be abused, to go through all sorts of challenges in their lives. And this location is an oasis of hope, the Vizag Slum Preschool. These children from the ages of 3 to 5 are able to have a safe place, to have healthy, nutritious meals, to have individuals that love them and teach them and give them opportunities. If this were not here, these children would be alone at home as their parent, their mother, is away doing work. And so this provides a place for them that is safe, even though they are growing up, so to speak, on the wrong side of the track. I want to thank you as sponsors of supporters of Operation Child Rescue. This initiative helps protect the most vulnerable of children. And I think you can see from this story that these children certainly fit those parameters of being vulnerable. We're very grateful for those that lead out in this initiative here, and we're thankful to partner with them to make a difference in the lives of these children.